Who made the Sphinx in Egypt?
There are three opinions about this. The popular theory is that King Khafra built the Sphinx statue. This was completed during the Fourth Dynasty of Egypt. Some believe that it was built by Khafra's older brother Regedef to commemorate their father, Khufu, whose pyramid at Giza is known as the Great Pyramid. The third theory is that Khufu himself erected this statue. These theorists claim that the face of the Great Sphinx bears more resemblance to Khufu than Khafra, and that observation also led to speculation that Khufu himself built the statue. Combining the strength of a lion, the intelligence of a man, and the bliss of a god, this statue shows the creativity of the artists of that time.
How many kings belong to the Fifth Dynasty of Egypt?
9 rulers belong to Egypt's Fifth Dynasty. The rulers of this dynasty built pyramids for themselves at Saqqara or at Arbusir to its north. Usukaf, the first ruler of the Fifth Dynasty, had a 7-year reign. He started the tradition of building temples for the sun god by building a temple and a complex of buildings for the sun god in Arbusir. All the 3 kings who came to power after him are acknowledged to be sons of Usukaf. The reign of those 3 kings, namely Sahur, Neferikher, and Shepsesker, was 39 years.
What important events took place in Egypt under the rule of the Fifth Dynasty?
Adding the name Re to the name of the king to symbolize the sun god. A notable event of this period was the popularization of the worship of sun god or Re by building separate temples. Also, it is another specialty that many kings of this dynasty used the Arbusir area instead of Memphis, Saqqara, and Giza, the traditional places where the tombs of the kings were built. During the time of these kings, the interior walls of the pyramids were more decorated and the writing of deity worship texts was also common. From the perspective of foreign relations, sending personnel to the Sinai Peninsula to import copper and minerals. Maintaining trade relations with the Punt region of Somalia and the eastern Mediterranean regions, and sending an army to the Libyan regions are notable features.
How many rulers belong to the Sixth Dynasty, the last dynasty of the Old Kingdom period?
The last dynasty of the Old Kingdom, the Sixth Dynasty, had 7 rulers. The reign of that dynasty lasted for about 164 years from 2345 BC to 2181 BC.
What are the important events that took place under the rule of the Sixth Dynasty?
The kings of the Fifth Dynasty built their pyramids at Arbusir, but the kings of this dynasty, following the old tradition, once again built their pyramids and funerary temples at Saqqara. Tet, the first ruler of the Sixth Dynasty, built himself a pyramid at Saqqara and had trade relations with Palestine, Somalia, and Nubia. Pepi, the first of that dynasty, ruled the country for 49 years.
On what grounds would a pharaoh called Pepi be an outstanding ruler?
Pepi ruled the country for a long period of 49 years and implemented many construction projects in Dendra, Abydos, Elephantine, and Hierakonpolis in Upper Egypt. To get the necessary resources for this, he subjugated the Nubian areas to Egypt and had trade relations with the coastal areas of Lebanon and Somalia. It is reported that Vini, who was a prominent person in his staff, built a large irrigation system. 2 copper statues of Pepi and his son Merenra have been found in Hierakonpolis, and many inscriptions of Pepi have been found in different parts of Egypt.
What was the name of the regional governing units of Egypt during this period?
The Old Dynastic Period and Ancient Kingdom period lasted for about 1,414 years in the history of Egypt, and during this period, Egypt made great progress in all aspects. During this period there was a strong centralized government that united Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. The king's power extended over the country. In the early period, the king appeared as a deity, but later with the popularization of sun worship, the king appeared as a pious son of the sun god. Many kings used a Horus name in addition to their original name, symbolizing the god Horus, who gave the king the power of the sun god. By the time of the Old Kingdom, an alphabet and a writing art had spread almost all over Egypt. In the early period, the method of communication which was used as symbols in pots and tombs etc. developed, and by the time of the Old Kingdom, it developed into inscriptions and other writing styles. By the time of the Old Kingdom, Egypt had made great progress in the field of architecture and construction. It is notable here that the kingdom was united in 3100 BC. And by 5 centuries the technology of pyramid construction had advanced enough to be considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. A tax collection mechanism was also in place, as regional revenue generation was essential to the existence of centralized political institutions and religious corporations. It is certain that in addition to political tasks such as providing the necessary personnel for the king's activities, handling the administration of the respective areas, the regional rulers also led the economic activities such as tax collection and trade. As a result, over time, the local rulers became economically as well as politically powerful. By the time of the reign of Pepi II, the regional rulers became powerful, which was a serious challenge to the existence of the centralized government. During the reign of the Sixth Dynasty, it seems that the local rulers and priests enjoyed some independence in their respective regions, as the pyramids and temples of the elite were built around some of the regional centers of Egypt. During the reign of Pepi II, governors were employed to administer Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt separately, and the positions in Upper Egypt had to be changed several times. Thus the decentralization of power to the local governors is a fact that led to the collapse of the centralized government. Pepi II, the last ruler of the Sixth Dynasty, came to power at the age of 6 and remained in power for a long period of 94 years until he was very old. It was a very good opportunity to strengthen the power of local rulers or governors. Also, the fact that the kings of the Sixth Dynasty married several queens related to the royal family and the birth of a new generation with a co-king inheritance led to political chaos.
What aspects of Egyptian history flourished during the Old Dynastic Period and the Old Kingdom Period?
At the beginning of the Old Kingdom period in Egypt, there was a regional system of governance based on Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. In the early days, these local administrative units were called nomes. There were 22 such nomes in Upper Egypt and 20 such nomes in Lower Egypt.